kafir, and they categorize kafir as harbi, which means you're at war with Islam. Those who disagree with us, some of them will surely go to hell. I mean, some of us who agree or disagree, going to hell or heaven, I wouldn't know. You see? But these are what I consider as purveyors, trying to then give a reason. We have to be strong, committed Muslims, otherwise Islamophobics will take over this country. So the purveyors of violence is also an issue that we have to be on guard. Otherwise, it will be too late. Now, the same Edward Said, which I've popularized his writings quite a bit. I don't get any commission from his writings. It's a short article, which I think if the foreign minister allow, and they categorize kafir as harbi, which means you had friends, email, PDF, because it's short, at the 8-9 page. Because he talks about, which is to me, very pertinent in our discourse. He said, in response to Samuel Huntington's Clash of Civilizations, that ultimately is a Western liberal democracy. Now, mind you, many of the Western so-called liberal democracy are also declining in their positions. But he took, to me, in that thesis, is more balance. There are a lot of strength in the West that we must continue to take advantage of, because there are many. I used to teach at Georgetown University and science. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's West or white or Christian or black or Muslim. Humanity. It's a compassion, justice. And I've sensed that. Therefore, I normally in my speeches, I avoid this tendency to portray West as West, East as East, and then, the Christian world, this, to my mind, can be dangerous. It can be used by others, but we should not. We should try and engage. Now, in his critique of the Huntington's thesis of Clash of Civilization, Edward Said wrote this piece and published it in the Atlantic, if I'm not mistaken, entitled Clash of Ignorance. It's interesting, because those so-called academics, scholars, thinkers of the West, they assume they understand Islam from the texts that they read, not the willingness to study in an objective sense. Now, if I want to study Christianity or Hinduism here in this case, then you got to go through the text, the Bhagavad Gita, or in Christian text, either version of King James Version, I had to read. Now, I have an additional advantage. I have a lot of time to read because I was in prison for a long time. So when I ask some of the professors, they can compete because it's 10 solid years of reading and nothing else. So, Edward Said, the one says critique is important. It's clash of ignorance. It's not only the West, even the Muslim world. Sometimes the way we respond, like our response to the cartoonist issue, or our response to even this burning of the Quran, is just madness. It's condemning the whole continent, or all whites, or all Christians. It's stemming from a strong prejudice, ignorance. So Edward Said suggests, you want to resolve and enter into this discourse, which I call Madani because it's more comprehensive. Cultural empowerment, economic empowerment, cultural empowerment, and social empowerment. So that's Madani is in brief. Otherwise you have to read script. I think, Foreign Minister, have you sent the ambassadors the script? He has not done so. And you know the problem, my coalition, he represents the other party. No. I'm joking. He's a stalwart in the cabinet, very committed to this. Thank you very much. But I'm not joking the fact that he's Secretary General of Barisan Nasional. And the president, the chairman is here. And Edward Said, he said, we, the Muslims also, lack this understanding. Yes, there's gross injustice. Look at the fate of the Palestinians. I mean, to me, it's mind-boggling. I can't understand how we as human beings can tolerate this. I have a difficulty. If at all anyone can just help me out, I don't know. And people are being killed, their houses are being taken away. Oh no, it's a 2,000-year history. What's going to happen in Malaysia? Everybody talks about 2,000-year history. There's no place to many of us. But so I still, the answer is, of course, a reasoned discourse. So Edward Said suggests that, therefore, why don't we, the Muslims, understand them, the others, and they too try and understand us and stop this madness, this crazy profiling people according to their race or their religion or where they come from. Well, it is a major task. It'll be easier said than done. I hope I'm more successful. Even I'm struggling with this to try and convince my colleagues on, particularly from various parties and religious denominations, can we just try and engage? When I said, let us have a Madani discourse, I said, no, Madani discourse is Western, secular, liberal. Because Anwar must have taken it from John Locke, Ziauddin Sardar, Amartya Sen. Amartya Sen is a great political economist, very passionate about poverty and inequality. And suddenly he's been dumped as a liberal, secular. Therefore, must be rejected at all costs. These are trends that's affecting the minds of many Malaysians too, particularly the young. That is why I have strongly urged government missionaries, agencies, you want to ensure that Malaysia survive as a united, multiracial, multicultural country, it must be through understanding and respect. There's a verse of the Quran that talks about differences, sects and tribes and languages, through ta'arafu, through understanding and appreciating and knowing one another, not through a condescending view or displaying arrogance towards each other. So in conclusion, do you believe that Islamophobia should continue as a firm belief? No. Must we do more? Yes. You know, in the Alliance of Civilizations, I think supported by the United Nations, Spain and Turkey has started this remarkable initiative. I attended one major conference in Turkey on Islamophobia. But I would encourage in our future sessions to get a team, experts representing Islam, the other religions, particularly those in Malaysia, and the West. Because there are many, to my mind, many scholars, academicians in the West, or from the West, who do not share that prejudice, hatred for the other. And I think this sort of exchanges, to my mind, would be useful. And Tripartite, which I've been associated for a long time, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I have just been recently associated, would actually form this new alliance to try and promote this, not necessarily in huge international conferences, but to get this level of understanding. It is so critical that we in Malaysia set that example, because we were all Malaysians, not Western, but we are very strongly influenced sometimes with the Western thought, and we need to be open to benefit from everyone. But ultimately, as the great Algerian thinker stated, it must be indigenous thought, which means it must come from within, getting the best from all other cultures and technology. America's leading, Europe, China, or India, but then remaining as a Muslim or as a Malay, but very Malaysian. So sekali lagi ucap terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jadi ucapan ataupun keynote speech yang disampaikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, begitu syarat ucapannya. Antara yang kita boleh rumuskan apa yang dikongsikan berkenaan dengan ini, Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri telah pun menjangkakan dan juga memberi bayangan akan lebih banyak wacana berkaitan dengan perkara ini, bukan sahaja dalam soal Islamofobia, terkait juga pelbagai isu lain, antaranya berkaitan dengan melawan imperialisme, melawan ketidakadilan terhadap Islam. Dan ketika ini terus kita bawakan kepada anda gimmick dan pelancaran buku yang dimaksudkan oleh Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, iaitu Bias in Popular Culture, The Power of Visual and Linguistic Narratives. Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri akan menurunkan tanda tangan beliau sebagai gimmick dan juga secara rasminya buku Bias in Popular Culture, The Power of Visual and Linguistic Narratives secara rasminya dilancarkan dan turut disaksikan oleh kedua-dua Yang Amat Berhormat Timbalan Perdana Menteri, Yang Berhormat Menteri Luar dan juga Yang Berusaha Ketua Setiausaha Negara. Itu dia, tanda tangan telah pun diturunkan, maka bermakna pelancaran buku Bias in Popular Culture, The Power of Visual and Linguistic Narrative telah pun selamat dirasmikan, dan ini dia buku yang telah pun dipegang oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Jadi satu bahan bacaan penting untuk kita memahami bagaimana bias in popular culture ataupun pandangan yang bias ini terhadap budaya yang pelbagai ini, the power of visual ataupun kuasa visual itu sendiri, dan juga linguistik, cara penceritaan yang dinarratifkan terhadap Islam itu sendiri. Dan buku ini sudah tentu memberi makna yang penting kepada Islam itu sendiri. Baik, dan seterusnya untuk mengakhiri acara pada hari ini, penyerahan senalkah kitab suci Al-Quran daripada komuniti Islam minoriti dari Europe diserahkan kepada IIIT ataupun International Islamic Thinking IIIT, dan diserahkan terus kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Dan Al-Quran berkenaan juga telah pun dicetak menggunakan bahasa Sweden. Ini menunjukkan bahawa satu tindakan progresif yang diambil secara pantas dan tuntas untuk berdepan dengan pandangan Islamofobia. Sudah tentu Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri juga berkata bahawa kita bukan bertindak secara bertentangan ataupun bukan tentangan yang dilakukan, tetapi melalui wacana kesejahteraan untuk dibawa dan diangkat dan dibawa ke dalam konteks wacana ini, dan dijangkakan akan terus lebih banyak wacana akan dilangsungkan untuk kita bercakap dalam perkara ini.